Hello everyone, my name is Amy Kandetzke. I am 44 and I am a bodybuilder. I just started this bodybuilding journey actually last year around the exact same time. So, however, I have been lifting for many years, probably since I've been 20 or even before that. And I used to be a personal trainer, I used to be a group exercise instructor, then I became an RN. And then I kind of went back into weight loss and health prevention. And so now I am a certified holistic functional practitioner. And I work with women, particularly in midlife. And I'm a hormone coach. And I do functional lab testing as well, such as gut testing, Dutch testing for hormones, and mineral testing. And I also create customized nutrition and exercise plans. So, that is a little bit about me. Today, I'm gonna show you my home gym. I also go to a gym, but this is really nice in case I can't. Whether kids sick, I have 3 kids and they seem to be sick a lot, so I can still get my workout in. And I wanna show you some of the things that I have here. Obviously, you don't need something like this to get into shape. But as I've started to lift more and more over the years, this is obviously really convenient and allows me to do a lot of different variations. But I'm gonna show you some things that you can actually just get on Amazon and that are very minimal cost and that will get you great results. So the first thing I'm gonna show you here is called the Bella Booty Band. And this here basically just Velcros. And what you do is you put your weights on either side and then you just Velcro them in. So, you can use really anything for a bench. You don't have to have a bench. You can use a chair if you really want to. And so what you do is you sit on the bench or the chair, and then you're gonna have your back on the bench, and then what you do is you're gonna come down and then you're gonna lift your hips up. And so this prevents, if you're doing a bar here, obviously that's not very comfortable. So this Bella Booty Band is nice because it protects your hips from getting bruised. And it's a lot more comfortable. So this is one of the ways that I work my glutes. And again, very minimal cost, something you can get right on Amazon. The other way that I like to work my glutes is through kickbacks. So bridges and kickbacks are a big part of my leg and glute day. I do work my glutes 3 days a week. And I have a national show coming up in November of this year. So I focus, on building those glutes, those legs. And so that's why I work them 3 days a week. So this set came with this strap, which I can just attach here and I can put it around my ankle. But I personally prefer this. Again, I got this on Amazon, because it allows me to put my foot in here, like this. So, one of my favorite glute exercises is just kick back like this. So you're slightly bent over and you're kicking back like you're pushing something away from you. And I usually do 4 sets and I go pretty heavy. I do about 8 to 12 reps on each side. Another glute exercise that I like is crossovers. So that's where I'll use this. And what I'll do is I'll start with my foot back here, and then I'll kick it out. So you're kind of at an angle here. And so this is another great glute exercise. And again, your heel is at an angle as well. The other thing I do is squats. And that's why this Smith machine is great. So I'll put plates on either side, and I'll just get underneath. Toes slightly turned out, kind of like a sumo squat, and then you just squat all the way down. And this is nice because it has these here so that it really helps prevent any injury. So if you're lifting really, really heavy, these are, what do you call them? Stops. Like they're, so that you can't, you know, it will stop before you crush yourself. So I do, again, 4 sets of these. Usually 8 to 12. Sometimes I do as low as 6, and just kind of go all the way down. Another one that I like for glutes is deadlifts, and I love the Smith machine because it definitely helps prevent an injury versus doing just a barbell squat or handstand. So to get better range of motion, I will stand on this step, and then I will just come down, knees slightly bent, and again, plates on either side. And again, I do about 4 sets of these as well. I typically do about 10 reps. Another great exercise I like for glutes is these bands. Again, you can get these on Amazon. Super cheap, very effective. You can take it to a hotel room, really anywhere. You can do a lot with it. So I do banded walks, lateral walks. So I just get in that squat position, and I basically do 12 to 15 of these steps on each side, and I do 3 sets of those. And it burns. By the time you get to 15, you are ready to stand up for sure. Another great exercise for glutes is just taking one of these bands. Again, you can get this on Amazon. And doing, if you don't have a Smith machine, you can do kickbacks with ease. So you start at a 90-degree angle, and then you're kicking up towards the ceiling. So this is a really great exercise here. And these come in different resistances, these bands. So light, medium, and then heavy. And so if I'm working my upper body, then I usually use my bench and I do chest press. Let me show that. So I will do, and I can do chest press on this too, but I typically do it on the bench. I don't work my chest a lot. As a bodybuilder, I probably only work my chest once a week. Again, I do my legs, my glutes, 3 days a week. 1 day a week I'll do shoulders and triceps, and then the other day I'll do back and biceps. So this is a great option here for lat pull down. This was a separate attachment that we bought, but it's really nice. to work the outer parts of your back. And then I like this for cable rows. Heavy, you're gonna need to put your feet on something. But this just works a different part of your back. So it works the middle of your back versus that one that works the outside. I also do bent over rows with the Smith machine. And I step on the step. And then for biceps, another thing that I really like is I will hang a really, really heavy band from this, and I will do pull-ups with this. So it's a weighted pull-up, basically. And you can do close grip, wide grip pull-ups. And a lot of times I'll video myself doing this and people won't see the band, and they're like, wow, you can do so many pull-ups. I'm like, well, actually I'm using a band. But this is something that you can use for a weighted pull-up. And so biceps and triceps, I will use this as well. So this came with the rope for tricep pull down. So I'll stand here. And with biceps and triceps, I do a little bit more reps, and I do 3 sets. So I'll do 12 to 15 reps for my biceps and my triceps versus legs, where I do maybe 6 to 10 reps and 4 sets. And I'll superset these. So superset means you're doing an exercise back to back. So I'll do the tricep pull downs, and then on the other side, I will do bicep curls. So the jacked up Smith machine also came with this that I'll use for my biceps. And I will vary these. So another type of bicep curl that you can do are hammer curls. And so sometimes I'll do hammer curls with the rope. And so you can bring it up like this. You can bring it out. And then a lot of times for triceps, I will do skull crushers in addition to my tricep extensions. So skull crushers, you're basically lying on a bench and you're bringing the weights down to your forehead. Don't hit your forehead, on either side of your head. And these are a little bit more advanced. The other thing you can do for triceps is kickbacks. So I typically do 2 different exercises for bicep and 2 different exercises for triceps on my arm days. And then for shoulders, you can either do the Smith machine. If you don't have a Smith machine, you can do dumbbell press over your head. That's what I typically do. Obviously, I don't use this size weight. I use heavier weights. And then I'll go right from here and I'll go to lateral raises. do lateral raises, and then I'll go to front raises. And my coach just gave me a new workout, and I'm supersetting all of these, which is, it's a beast of a workout. And then I rest 90 seconds in between each set. That's really, really important. And you know, a lot of these circuit training, you're only resting 30 seconds in between, but if you're lifting heavy enough, you're gonna need those 90 seconds of rest. Another exercise that I love with the Smith machine is reverse flies. This is great. So I'm gonna take this attachment off. And I'm gonna find again. And this is great to get the rear deltoids. And it's nice because this has a little place to put your phone if you want to take a selfie. Comes with that. The other thing is, once I'm done lifting, I'll do a core workout. And so a lot of people think sit-ups, planks, but what I do is I work my transverse abdominal area. So I do a lot with this ball. And this can, again, it's just a little ball that you can find. It's like called a Pilates ball, and you can find this on Amazon. And so I'll do a lot of these where I bring it up and I'm holding and squeezing, and then I bring it back down, and then I bring it up and hold, and that's working the lower abs. So if you've had kids and you have weaker abdominal area there, the transverse abdominis, then this can really, really help strengthen that and can give you that core control. I also do a lot of vacuums. And so vacuums are where you basically breathe out and then you pull everything in and you hold it. And I usually hold it for 30 seconds. I mean, you might just start with 5 seconds, but eventually over time you'll get stronger and you'll just hold it. And it really, like, if you're doing it correctly, you will be really sore the next day. Your abs will be very sore. Other things I do for my abs are, I do crossovers. So I'll bring one leg up like this and I'll push against my leg and hold it. And then other side, push. And so I'll do that. I also use these sliders. Again, you can find these on Amazon. And I will bring my left leg out and my right arm, I bring my left and right arm out, and then you bring them in because you're really focusing on those transverse abdominis when you're pulling in. And you can do this even if you don't have a slider. So you can do it just like this. And so as a bodybuilder, I don't want thick abs, right? I want to slim them out, and you do that by working the lower abs. I'm trying to think of all the other things I do. The other thing is with posing, so I have a posing coach, and she advised that I get one of these, and this, I had never seen this before, but due to all the strength training and the muscle that I'm putting on, I still have to maintain a lot of flexibility in my back for different poses that I have to hold on stage. So after my workouts or at night while I'm watching TV, which I do very minimally, I will basically just hold this position for about 30 seconds, and then I will roll. So I'll roll a little bit, warm up those back muscles, and then I will hold it like this for another 30 seconds. And I do that for about 3 sets of those. And that really, really opens up your back. And obviously, just like with anything else, you want to be consistent with it. All right, so after strength training, depending on where I'm at with my training, if I'm in build phase, I typically do 15 to 20 minutes of cardio. And depending on how I look, the coach, or how I feel, if I'm sick, if he alters my cardio. So right now I'm doing 20 minutes of cardio 5 days a week. And so when I do my cardio, I'll come over here to my treadmill, and what I'll do is I'll put my treadmill at an 8 incline, and I'll walk at about 3.8. And that gets my heart rate up. But I always keep it at least an 8 incline if I'm doing cardio. If I'm just trying to get my steps in, I do more of like a leisurely walk, but for cardio, I'll do an 8 incline. If I'm walking outside, I will use my weighted vest. And again, this is something that you can buy on Amazon. They have different weights. I think this is 15. And so this obviously makes it a little bit more challenging. You can always walk up a hill. Obviously I can, in the winter time, I'll wear this on the treadmill to get my steps in. So my goal every single day, which is non-negotiable, 10,000 steps a day. And I'd say there's probably 1 or 2 days out of the whole year that I don't get those 10,000 steps in, and that's because I'm sick. Always make it a priority. And it really should be a priority for everyone. Our bodies are made to move. They're meant to move. And anything that's less than 4,000 steps is really considered sedentary. And that obviously increases your risk for obesity, insulin resistance, diabetes, cardiovascular disease. So I usually say to my clients, if they haven't been doing anything, is to let's focus on your steps. Let's track your steps and see how many you're getting in. A lot of people don't know. And if you don't know, you can't just guess. So I have them get a step tracker. For me, it's my Apple Watch. But really, there are so many different step trackers that you can get that are very affordable. Fitbit, you can even download an app on your phone if you have your phone on all day, and that will track your steps. And so what I do is I say, okay, let's do an average of 3 days. What is your baseline? And if, let's say they say it's 4,000 steps. One day they get 3,000, one day they get 5,000, one day they get 4,000. So then I say, okay, so your goal next week is to walk for 10 more minutes a day to get 5,000 steps. So a 10-minute walk is about 1,000 steps. So the goal is to eventually increase each week until you get to at least 8,000 steps. If your goal is weight loss, I say at least 8,000. Anywhere between 8,000 and 12,000 is really going to be the sweet spot for weight loss. And I tell my women in midlife that walking is literally the best exercise that you can do because it burns calories, but it doesn't increase inflammation or stress hormones in the body. And we are so much more sensitive to stress in midlife, especially our women over 40. So walking is just one of the best things that you can possibly do. That combined with strength training. And so if I have someone that's never strength trained before in their life, obviously I'm not gonna start them out on a crazy lifting program. Really, they can start with 10-minute body weight workouts, and I give those to them. Where you're just doing, and even maybe you're getting a weighted vest, and you're just doing body weight squats. You're doing lunges. You're doing push-ups with the vest. Maybe you start on your knees, and then you can go up to your toes. And then maybe you're putting a weighted vest on. So, other things you can do, side lunges, you can do tricep dips. So like this, a bench, even a chair works. You can do dips. And really, full body workout, 3 days a week, is all you really, really need. Obviously, if you're looking to improve body composition, then 4 days a week, maybe 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days. I actually have a free workout guide, so we'll link that here. And it is a 4-day workout guide with strength training exercises, cardio, and a little bit of HIIT in there too. And HIIT is high intensity interval training, so it's when you're getting your heart rate up really high, 85-90% of your max heart rate. And you're there not for a long time, probably 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then you're cooling down for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and then you ramp it up again, get your heart rate up again. And this is proven to do so many positive things in your body. Obviously, you don't want to do it in excess, especially us in midlife, us women. I recommend about twice a week where you're doing short HIIT training. So maybe 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, where you're getting that heart rate up really, really high, 85 to 90% of your max, and then you're dropping it back down. And you're doing that about 6 times. So that combined with the walking, which is I call zone 2. So zone 2 cardio is when you're at between 60 and 70% of your max heart rate. So for me, that's about 108 to 124 beats per minute. And that's where the zone 2 comes in. That's where it's just so great at lowering stress hormones, increasing your insulin sensitivity, and you're still burning calories. And then you're combining that with strength training. And that's really what I recommend for women in midlife. So that's a little bit about me, about my workouts, what I do, what I advise women in midlife to do. So we'll link that free workout guide. And then of course, if you have any questions or you're interested in me customizing a workout plan, a nutrition plan, doing functional lab testing on you, please reach out. My website is www.theoptimalhealthsolution.com. And if you want to know more about my personal story, how I went from surviving to thriving, then click the link up here.